Hey again, everybody. So today I want to talk about that I'm not certain exactly how the quote goes, but it's like that stressing over tomorrow's anxiety, or having stress for what's going to happen tomorrow takes away today's peace. And kind of the way that I'm able to apply this, or the way that I should apply this when it comes to school, when it comes to work, when it comes to especially social things. And I really tend to have those thoughts that take away the current peace when I'm really focusing on what might happen the next day. And of course, this happens mostly at night, like when I'm trying to sleep and stuff, and you get those thoughts that creep in. Maybe something that's a little bit negative happened during the day, and you're just running circles around it in your head. And I did that so much. I mean, just like nothing super bad has happened to me, like within this first week of class, but there's always those one or two things where somebody did something maybe slightly rude, or things didn't go quite the way you were hoping that they would, and you just kind of beat yourself over it for too long into the night, and then you don't get enough sleep, and then it just makes the next day a little bit more tired. So what I'm getting at is just that when you are so caught up in kind of the things that have already happened, or things that are going to happen that you're not sure of, that the only thing that is doing is it's taking away from your current peace. And I don't know if this is anything anybody can ever be especially good at. I think that this is something where it's more of a constant effort of control over your own mind and control over your own emotions. And it's easy to say this when you are actively doing something. When you are like, say you have some negative interaction with a friend, or if you're a guy and you tried to pick up some girl and she rejected you, and you're thinking about that literally all day, right? And it's a lot easier to not think about it when you have other things to do. So if you have a big project that you're working on, or if you have work, or something else that is really going to pull your mind away from it that you have to focus on, you're not going to be thinking about it as much. But as soon as it's time to go to bed, as soon as you have a quiet moment, the thought comes back. And this is why it's so hard to get over mean people, and why kindness really is the truest strength. Because people who are rude, you never know how it's going to affect somebody's day. And how many people go home and they are literally just going to think about some rude comment that somebody said for hours. And even if it was something small, and so that thought alone should be a deterrent, and should be something that should inspire kindness. And not that the people who think that way are weak minded, that they should have control over where their thoughts go, because I do those things too, and we all have those weak moments where we just can't help ourselves, and we start thinking about all of these negative things. And so trying to control that is not an easy task. And trying to remain in today's peace and in the current moment is nearly impossible in a lot of circumstances, especially in the time that we live in, with how instantaneous things are, and how many distractions we have. It's a very tall order to ask of the average person. But there are still small things that we can do to kind of put ourselves ahead, or kind of bring ourselves in a little bit better. And so throughout the week, since it's been the first week of class, and I've been having to whether I want to or not, meet a lot of new people, and talk to and be around people that I barely know, and kind of be in those kind of higher stress situations where something is being asked of me, and I kind of need to meet a certain standard that I believe that the other people have to have their approval. And so, as an example of this, last night I was at a game night that one of my friends from my rock climbing class invited me to. And I just met this guy because our first class was on Monday. And so last night being Thursday night, go over to his place. I was the first one there. People, started to show up. In total, by the end of it, there was like 6 of us, 6 or 7. And I knew none of these people other than the guy that invited me, right? So, I had to introduce myself to 6 new people. So, it wasn't a super high stress social environment because, I have no understanding of what these people are into, what they do. So I have nothing where I feel like I need to kind of, prove myself or, try to relate to them because I literally know nothing, right? And so, but that stress was still there of, I need to say something cool. I need to present my best qualities. How am I sitting? All of these different thoughts of trying to be impressive on that first impression. And so I was thinking of this last night and how I was probably making myself look more awkward because I was thinking about that. Because I was making myself so uncomfortable with the thought of, what do they think? Or should I be doing something more? Or should I have brought this up? Was that a weird thing to introduce myself with? All of these different thoughts was making me more uncomfortable and probably more awkward seeming than if I would have just, been honest. And which, not that I lied to them, but that if I was just more true to me and didn't care, kind of about these fake standards that I was trying to make in my own head. And so I was taking away from the, kind of momentary peace that I could have had, and just enjoying the company of these other new people, rather than, kind of taking away from it, over stressing over things that were outside of my control. And so this very much goes for things that it's foolish to stress over things that are going to happen tomorrow, but it's just outright stupid to stress over things that have already happened. And this is an easy thing to say, and that may sound harsh, but it's such an easy thing to say, but not to say that I don't stay up way too late just because I am running circles in my mind of, oh, I should have said this. Oh, why didn't I just do this? That would have been so much better. I would have looked a lot better. I would have felt better about that. And, just all of these different interactions run through my brain of things that I should have done. And there's a point, though, on those nights that I get to, or that I've been getting to recently, where I just kind of what am I doing? Wait a minute. Why am I thinking about this? And, it's not easy to just silence those thoughts, but, trying to instead, okay, I'm just going to write these things down, try to get it out of my mind and not think about it, and actively notice the thought patterns that you get into that leads to it. And for me, recently it's been mostly with, kind of these new connections that I'm trying to form, and some of them that have failed. And so I'll run circles of things that I should have done, or maybe if I did this, it would have worked. And, I neglect to just realize all right, well, it's already happened. Nothing I can do now. It is how it is, and we just do better tomorrow. And, it takes a while, though, until I kind of, am able to remind myself of that. And I think that that's the case for most people, that, you get caught up in what you should have done before realizing, oh, it's done. Like, I can't go back and I can't change the past. And so, yeah, so, trying to limit yourself to what is, well, not limit yourself, but keep your circle of control and circle of stress over things that are immediately there that you can do something about. And because stress can be a useful thing sometimes when you really need to get something done, when there is something that is inside of your control, that feeling isn't just going to die. Like, you have to do that thing for it to be gone. So in a way, it can be used as a tool. But when you're doing it as for things that you cannot control, it's just self-sabotage. So yeah, so kind of thinking about staying within today's peace and not letting tomorrow's events or yesterday's events take away from this current peace. So yeah, something to think about, something I've been pondering with everything new and all these new people. So yeah, but things are good. I hope you all are doing well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.